Look at the latest ballot return numbers around Oregon and Southwest Washington. And by the way, we're going to compare them to what we're seeing on Friday to see how many people raced to get their ballots in over the weekend. Let's begin in the great state of Washington. They have over 1.5 million ballots returned. That's about 32% of the statewide vote. They saw about 155,000 ballots come in over the weekend. Clark County, by the way, sitting at 36% of the ballots returned as of tonight. Here's a statewide look at Oregon. More than 1 million ballots are in, accounting for about 36% of the statewide vote. That's a jump of about 7% from Friday, or about 210,000 voters. Now for a check on the metro area. Clackamas County has about 100,000 ballots returned. That represents just over 31% of voters there. They only had about 6,000 votes come in over the weekend, though, which is about 2% or so. Washington County has over 1/3 of their ballots returned at just over 130,000. Nearly 22,000 of voters there returned their ballots over the weekend. That's a jump of nearly 6%. I hope you love all these details like I do. Now to the ever important Multnomah County, where the largest number of registered voters live in Oregon. More than 183,000 ballots are in. That represents about 32% of the eligible voters here. But more than 10% of Multnomah County voters went to the mailbox or the drop box over the weekend, representing more than 58,000 ballots. We told you on Friday that historically Multnomah County voters wait a bit longer than others to get those ballots in, and it appears that history is repeating itself now. All of last week and today, larger counties are lagging behind when it comes to these early ballot returns. The smaller Oregon counties don't seem to have that problem. And because of that, we were kind of curious as to why. Of course, smaller population numbers make it easier to have a larger percentage of the ballots returned. Yeah, we get that. But we did want to dig a little bit deeper. Right now, the top 3 counties in Oregon, based on the percentage of ballots returned so far, are Lake County with more than half their ballots in. Well done. Wheeler County with just about half, and Grant County not far behind. You can see that even though Wheeler County ranks second, it only accounts for about 500 votes, and that's because they only have about 1,000 eligible voters in that vast county. Wheeler County is the least populated county in all of Oregon. The county seat is located in the town of Fossil, which was named after a discovery of, that is correct, fossils, and you can still go dig them there. The first fossils were found back in 1876. The voters there lean definitely Republican red. The last Democratic presidential candidate to win a majority in Wheeler County, Jimmy Carter, back in 1976. And he won by a margin of less than 50 votes. It's been all Republicans ever since. So we called up the Wheeler County clerk to try and uncover why their residents are motivated to get those ballots in ASAP. Brenda Snow Potter says it's all about trust.
It's a small community. A lot of people know me personally, being a volunteer firefighter and search and rescue and ambulance. And so they get to know me. And I think I've been here for quite a while now. And so they believe that they can come in and talk to me about anything. And if I can answer their questions, I will.
She says this time around for this midterm election, she's not received many questions or concerns about the voting process in Wheeler County.
No one's asked how our ballots are counted. We've had people in the past that have come and witnessed or observed the counting process. And for the most part, they say it's the most boring thing they've ever seen and never want to come back. But I've not had anyone request that. I have had a couple of people come in and ask about all the drama going on in the rest of the state. And if I was seeing any of that here, and I really haven't. I have no fear of walking out to the ballot box and checking it by myself. I'm not concerned about my ballot boxes catching fire or being destroyed. So that's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to know that our citizens take it that seriously, that they really do care about the electoral process. I believe our people here believe in the system, and I think that they trust me to make sure that their vote gets through the way it should.
How refreshing is that? And what makes voting numbers in Wheeler County more impressive is that there are only 3 ballot drop boxes in the entire county. Of course, people can just return their ballot through the post office, but if they don't go that route, it can be a haul to get to the nearest drop box.
Even though we're so spread out for the most part, we know we have to drive to get anywhere. So it's not what most people in the city would consider out of the way if we had to drive 20 or 30 miles. Because we're all generally about 2 hours, 2.5 hours from anything major, as far as major cities go. So 20 or 30 minutes isn't that much.
Well, we think that's pretty short too, but we only go a mile in that time period. So no matter if the county has historically voted for Republicans or Democrats, it's incredible what a little trust in the system can do. Maybe we can all take a page out of the Wheeler County book, trust the integrity of the process, and get out and vote. And be sure to tune in to KGW all night tomorrow, as we'll have the midterm coverage throughout the evening as the results come in. There are lots of ways to watch us. We'll be on your TV, of course, along with NBC all night long, and we'll be streaming on KGW Plus and KGW.com starting at 7:30. And then stick around for the full coverage of the races on the news at 11.